Як почуєш серця зов, як заграє раптом кров, не турбуйся, не лякайся, бо це любов, а любов річ неземна, незбагненна чарівна, ні відмовити не в силі, ні ти, ні я, ти з любові собі не жартуй, і з моїх почуттів не кепкуй, бо що сталось мені, може статися й тобі, а за те ти мене не винуй, бо не знаєш години, ні дня, як в один так заб'ються серця, не поможе тоді вже нічого ніхто тобі, як до тебе любов завіта, не поможе тоді вже нічого ніхто тобі, як до тебе любов завіта.
And a Ukrainian group called Kiev Orchestrio, and a song called Tivs Lyubovi Sobi ne Żartuj, which translates as You Don't Joke About Love. Добрий день, шановні радіослухачі, та вітаю вас всіх на радіопередачу «Наш Холос» радіо українського коріння, яка подається вам сьогодні, так як і кожної середи з 11 до 13 години на радіостанції CHLY 101.7 FM у місті Nanaimo. При мікрофоні цю годину є Павліна, а наступну годину буде з вами Оксана. Дякую, що рішили перебути з нами наступних 2 годин. Ми маємо дуже цікаві новини на сьогоднішній програмі. Hello there and welcome to Nash Holos Ukrainian Roots Radio, coming to you on CHLY 101.7 FM in beautiful downtown Nanaimo. I'm Paula Demchuk-McCrory, Pukrinske Pavlina, and I'll be your host for this first hour. Oksana Poborezhnik will be here at 12 noon to host the show in Ukrainian. I'm delighted to have you with us. We've got a great program lined up for you. In this hour, we'll have an interview with Debbie Provanche of St. Mary's Ukrainian Orthodox Church in Parksville, and she'll be telling us about Easter traditions, including Easter baskets. And she'll also have a pair of tickets to give away for their upcoming pierogi supper this Friday. So stay tuned for that. We've also got episode 5 of Joan Brander's Pisanka Power podcast, and today it'll be all about using the pencil technique on Pisanka. And last week I misidentified her episode 4 podcast, and that was not all about dyes because that was episode 3. Episode 4 was all about creating geometric designs. So today it'll be all about using a pencil to help you create those great geometric designs. And on Ukrainian Jewish heritage, Myra Junik, who is our usual Kanishka Corner book reviewer, will be reviewing a book for Ukrainian Jewish heritage. And this is an incredible book called Jews and Ukrainians, A Millennium of Coexistence. And it was co-authored by Paul Robert Magotchi and Yohanan Petrovsky Stern. So stay tuned for that. We've also got our usual proverb of the week, other items of interest, and great Ukrainian music. And coming up next is a Canadian artist by the name of Oresha. And she's believe it's a reggae artist, and but she's got Ukrainian roots, and so she's recorded some Ukrainian music, and this is her first release. It's called Czerwona Ruta, the Red Rue.
Ти признайся мені, Звідки в тебе ті чари, я без тебе сідний, у полоні печалі, може десь у лісах, ти чар зілля шукав, сонце руту знайшов і мене зчарував. Не шукай вечорами, ти у мене єдиний, тільки ти повір. Бо твоя врода, то є чистая вода, то є бистрая вода синих днів. Бачу я тебе в снах, у дібровах зелених, по забутих стежках, ти приходиш до мене, і не треба нести мені квітку надії, бо давно уже ти увійшов в мої мрії.
нас дівчата всі хороші,
Ukrainian-American singer Andriana from her recent CD, just released in late November of 2018. It is called Pisni z domu, Songs from Home. And that song was Tam na hori kruta veja, which translates as On the Mountain. Well, Easter is just around the corner. A week from Sunday will be Easter Sunday on the Gregorian calendar. 2 weeks from Sunday, April 28th, will be Easter Sunday on the Julian calendar, which Orthodox churches around the world observe for religious holidays. St. Mary the Protectress Ukrainian Orthodox Church in Parksville is one of the churches that will be celebrating Easter according to the Julian calendar. St. Mary's is a longtime supporter of our program and the station and is involved in many community outreach programs. Their monthly pierogi supper is just one of those programs, albeit a very popular one. Debbie Provenche is Vice President of St. Mary's. She joins us now by phone to tell us a bit about their upcoming Easter schedule, Ukrainian Easter traditions, and she also has a pleasant surprise for listeners who love pierogis. So Debbie, welcome back to Nash Holos.
Thank you very much for having me. It's always a pleasure to be on your program.
Yes, it's great to have you. So before we get chatting about Easter, let's talk about your April pierogi supper, because it's a little bit different and you've got a little bit of a surprise for our listeners.
Yes. So we always have a pierogi supper. It's usually the last Friday of the month because Good Friday would be the fourth Friday. We're doing it this Friday from 5 until 7, and our address is 594 Carl's Way in Parksville. And I have 2 free meals for our dinner this Friday. So you're going to give the instructions for calling in, and then my number, and we can connect, and I can give them the 2 tickets.
Oh, great. So that's 2 tickets for pierogi supper this Friday, April 12th at St. Mary's. So what's on the menu? Pierogies, of course.
Oh, well, we have pierogies, absolutely, sausage. Every meal also has coleslaw, sour cream, onions. You get a dessert and a beverage all together.
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, that's
a great feast.
Yeah. If you have to buy a ticket, how much does it cost?
If you want the sausage, it's $14, and the pierogi meal is $12, and there's 12 pierogies on your plate. And we also have frozen pierogies to sell too. So
okay.
You can take some home.
Awesome. Okay. So we'll get that number from you before you leave, and it'll be the first caller who will lay claim to a pair of tickets. So if you love pierogies, stay with us. Now, pierogies are super delicious and enjoyed year-round, pretty ubiquitous. But at Easter, we get to enjoy some wonderful ritual foods that are specific to the holiday and often have deep symbolic meaning. Debbie, I have fond memories of helping my mom arrange ham, eggs, cheese, Easter bread, and other yummy foods in a special basket. And we'd carefully carry it to church to be blessed on Easter morning. Will you be taking a basket to church this year?
I absolutely will. And, in that basket are all the foods that we have not been having for 40 days. Oh. And so we have 2 kinds of bread, a pasca, which is a braided bread, and a babka, which is a sweet bread. And we always have bread because Christ is our bread of life. Mm-hmm. We have eggs, which represents the resurrection, and horseradish, which is the passion, bacon, which is God's mercy, cheese, and, throughout our lives as Christians, we should always have moderation in that, showing moderation. Salt is about the duty of Christians to others. Ham is about the joy and abundance for Easter. Butter, and it's often molded in the shape of a lamb. Mm-hmm. And that's for the goodness of Christ. And we always have sausage, which is God's favor and generosity. And so what we do is we put portions of each of this food into the basket with pesanke, which are eggs that are decorated, and then kresenka, which is one color. Often it's red. Mm-hmm. Our tradition in the morning when we were going to church, our grandfather would have us wash our faces with the kresenka in the bowl. This is supposed to make us beautiful. So we go to church for the service before sunrise, and we bring the shroud back into the church, and after that we do our Easter service. So
And
it's great.
yeah, Easter is a beautiful, beautiful service. So when are services at St. Mary's?
So we have the 12 gospel readings on the Thursday, which is April
25th.
Yes. And then the 7 o'clock at our church, and then we have the Good Friday service at again 7 o'clock in the evening on the
27th.
7th, yes. And then on the 28th, we have a 7 a.m. service, and we do it all. Father Udot is coming from Winnipeg to join us for all those services this for Easter.
Oh, how nice. So you have
Yeah.
a visiting priest since you have it on Easter Sunday. How nice.
Yes.
Oh, lovely, lovely. So the last Friday of April is the 26th, and St. Mary's will be observing Good Friday, which is solemn, and as you mentioned, strict day of fasting. Still,
Yeah.
I guess the second last of the 40 days of Lent.
Right.
So you'll be holding your pierogi supper this coming Friday, April 12th, and as we mentioned earlier, you've got tickets to give away.
Yes.
So what number should people call?
My number is 250-729-6143.
Okay, and repeat it once more.
250-729-6143. And I'm looking forward to answering that telephone.
Okay, so Debbie is standing by with a pair of tickets to St. Mary's Pierogi Supper this coming Friday. And reminder once more that Easter services will be taking place for most people in the Gregorian calendar. It'll be next weekend, April 19th, 20th, and 21st. And at St. Mary's, it will be the following weekend. And starting, you said, on the 25th, there's a Thursday service?
Yeah, the gospel readings are at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
And then the Good Friday service will be on the 26th at 7 p.m. And then on Sunday morning, the 28th, we will have service beginning at 7 a.m. After the Divine Liturgy, then we'll have our basket blessing.
Okay, wonderful. Well, have fun putting together your basket. Maybe I'll see you there. And thank you so much for chatting with us today. And we'll just get that number once more from you for listeners to call in for this Friday's Pierogi Supper.
Sure. The address is 594 Carl's Way in Parkville. My number is 250-729-6143.
Okay, super. So call 250-729-6143. The first caller to get through to Debbie will get a pair of tickets for this Friday's Pierogi Supper at St. Mary's in Parksville. Debbie, thank you once again for chatting with us, and have a joyous and blessed Easter.
Thank you. The same to you, Paulette. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I was speaking with Debbie Provencher, Vice President of St. Mary the Protectress Ukrainian Orthodox Church, located at 594 Carl's Way in Parksville. Once again, the first caller through at 250-729-6143 will be the lucky winner of 2 tickets to St. Mary's Pierogi Supper this Friday, April 12th in Parksville, and it is delicious food, so pick up that phone and dial 250-729-6143. 250-729-6143. And just a reminder, St. Mary's is a proud sponsor of Nash Holos and this station. Vyslухайте радіопрограму Nash Holos Радіо Українського коріння на радіостанції CHLY 101.7 FM у місті Nanaimo. Говорить Павліна. You're listening to Nash Holos Ukrainian Roots Radio on CHLY 101.7 FM in Nanaimo. I'm your host, Pavlina. Up next, Millennia from Edmonton, picking up the pace a little bit. Here they are with Oi Chorna, Yes Chorna. I am a dark-eyed beauty.
Чорна, я си чорна, ой, чорна, я циганка. Щоб си полюбила чорнявого Іванка. Щоб си полюбила
And now for a look at Ukraine's rich Jewish heritage, then and now, brought to you by the Ukrainian Jewish Encounter based in Toronto, Ontario.
I'm Myra Junik in Toronto for Nash Holos Ukrainian Roots Radio. In this edition of Ukrainian Jewish Heritage, we will be discussing Jews and Ukrainians, A Millennium of Coexistence by Paul Robert Magachi and Yohanan Petrovsky Stern. Jews and Ukrainians, A Millennium of Coexistence is a comprehensive historical account of the relationship between Jews and ethnic Ukrainians, both in Ukraine and the diaspora. It was written primarily for a North American audience, but it has also been published in the Ukrainian language. It receives a special recognition award at the 2016 Lviv Book Forum. Commissioned by the Ukrainian Jewish Encounter and published by the University of Toronto Press, this book attempts to fill the gap of what Jews and Ukrainians know about each other. In the introduction, the writers state, "There is much that ordinary Ukrainians do not know about Jews, and that ordinary Jews do not know about Ukrainians. There is even more that Jews and Ukrainians do not know about themselves." In the 12 thematic chapters of this book, the writers construct a parallel narrative of the two groups, looking at settlement patterns, history, economics, culture, religion, language, literature, theater, architecture, art, music, the diaspora, as well as contemporary political and social life. Each writer wrote separately, one concentrating on ethnic Ukrainians and one concentrating on Jews. However, they also collaborated in sections. They soon discovered that what emerged from our parallel narrative was a single story in which ethnic Ukrainians and Jews displayed as many similarities as differences. The book begins with an examination of how stereotypes, perceptions, and misperceptions, often based on blatant prejudice, cloud relations between Jews and Ukrainians. The relationship between the two groups goes back 1,000 years. The first Jewish settlers moved to Ukrainian lands as maritime merchants from the Mediterranean basin. They settled in the coastal towns of the Black Sea, along with Greek colonists. During the time of Kievan Rus, Jews started arriving from Central Europe and settling in the central and northern Ukrainian towns. There are references to Jewish settlers in the literature of the period. Jews and Ukrainians continued to live together in the land that is contemporary Ukraine for hundreds of years, despite rule by foreign governments. By 1900, the inhabitants on the lands of present-day Ukraine totaled 30.6 million, comprised of 72.4% ethnic Ukrainians and 8.7% Jews. In sharp contrast, after the tragic events of the 20th century, such as the Holocaust and the Holodomor, today's ethnic Ukrainian population is about 37.5 million, with a Jewish population of only 84,000 or 0.02%, living mostly in cities such as Kyiv, Odessa, Dnipropetrovsk, and Kharkiv. This volume is full of intricate information, insightful historical analysis, detailed graphics and maps, as well as very relevant photographs. At times, the detail almost seems encyclopedic, but the writers managed to make each and every section relevant and readable. Those new to Ukrainian studies will learn a great deal about Ukraine's history and culture. Those who have studied both Ukrainian and Jewish culture will appreciate the commentary and the analysis of historical events. Researchers will definitely appreciate the extensive list of resources at the end of this book. Perhaps the most important theme in this book is the evolving relationship between Jews and Ukrainians. The writers describe historical conflicts between the two groups during the Khmelnytsky era, Polish rule, anti-Jewish pogroms of the 1880s, Babin Yar, the Holocaust, and Soviet rule. However, they also describe collaboration between the two groups during World War II, the Gorbachev era, the Orange Revolution, Kyiv's Maidan, and contemporary Ukraine. There is an extensive examination of links between the two groups in terms of language, art, literature, and cultural life. Paul Robert Magocsi is professor of history and political science and holds the John Yaremko Chair of Ukrainian Studies at the University of Toronto. Born in New Jersey, he completed his education at Rutgers, Princeton, and Harvard University. In 1996, he was appointed a permanent fellow of the Royal Society of Canada. He is interested in the history of nationalism, in particular among ethnic groups living in border areas. His recent works include With Their Back to the Mountains, A History of Carpathian Rus and Carpatho-Russins, and This Blessed Land, Crimea and the Crimean Tartars. Yohanan Petrovsky-Stern is professor of Jewish Studies and Jewish History at Northwestern University, where he is the Crown Family Professor of Jewish Studies. Born in Kiev, he completed his education at Moscow University and Brandeis University. He is interested in Jewish history, Slavic Jewish literature, and the history and culture of Ukraine. His recent works include The Golden Age Shtel, A History of Jewish Life in East Europe, and Lenin's Jewish Question. Magocsi and Petrovsky-Stern have written an impressive book, packed with encyclopedic detail, while being as easy to read as a magazine. Although this book is unlikely to change deeply held perceptions, the writers believe that in order to properly appreciate Jewish-Ukrainian relations, Jews need to know as much about Ukrainians as Ukrainians need to know about Jews. Jews and Ukrainians, A Millennium of Coexistence is available at Chapters Indigo and Amazon. I'm Myra Junik in Toronto for Nash Holos Ukrainian Roots Radio. Until next time, Shalom.
Ukrainian Jewish Heritage is brought to you by the Ukrainian Jewish Encounter based in Toronto, Ontario. To find out more about their work, visit their website and follow them on Facebook and Twitter. Transcripts and audio files of this and earlier broadcasts of Ukrainian Jewish Heritage are available at their website, ukrainianjewishencounter.org, as well as at the Nash Holos website, www.nashholos.com.
Широке поле, хлопці ж бо то хлопці.
And a song by a group called Luhanski Kozakia, which translates as Cossacks from Luhansk. That is an area in Ukraine that right now is occupied illegally by Russia. And that song was Hey Vedno Solo, as a song from another era when Ukrainians were trying to shake off the Russian aggression. And that translates as Hey, there's a village. Coming up next, the Kuban Cossack Choir with a traditional Ukrainian folk song, Polubila Petrusia, I Love Peter.
Полюбила Петруся, та й сказати боюся, ой, лихо не Петрусь, біле личко, чорний вуз. Лихо не Петрусь, біле личко, чорний вуз. Та за того Петруся била мене матуся, ой, лихо, лихо не Петрусь, біле личко, чорний вуз. Лихо не Петрусь, біле личко, чорний вуз. Ой, із туги мій Петрусь, пішов військо, не вернусь. Ой, лихо не Петрусь, пішов військо, не вернусь. Ой, лихо не Петрусь, пішов військо, не вернусь. Що з ним війську там було, моє серце не знало. Ой, лихо, лихо не Петрусь, біле личко, чорний вуз. Ой, лихо не Петрусь, біле личко, чорний вуз. Не знала я молода, яка буде з ним біда. Ой, лихо не Петрусь, біле личко, чорний вуз. Ой, ой-ой-ой, біле личко, чорний вуз. Що мій миленький Петрусь, в тому світу повернусь. Ой, лихо, лихо не Петрусь, біле личко, чорний вуз. Ой, лихо не Петрусь, біле личко, чорний вуз. Ой, лихо
Ви слухаєте радіопередачу «Наш Холос» радіо нашого коріння на радіостанції CHLY 101.7 FM у місті Nanaimo. Говорить Павіна. You're listening to Nash Holos Ukrainian Roots Radio on CHLY 101.7 FM in Nanaimo. I'm your host, Pavina.
Hi, I'm Joan Brander, and you're listening to my Pesenka Power podcast. I love Ukrainian egg decorating. I've been doing it for several decades, ever since I was a child. I've amassed so much knowledge and experience over those years, I thought that podcasting would be a great way to share my passion with you. I'll be telling you about their history, legends, and symbols. On the practical side, there's tools and techniques used in making them, hints, tips, and do-it-yourself projects to talk about. Did you know that the fate of the world depends on pesenka? There's an ancient Ukrainian legend that says, as long as pesenka are being made, evil will not prevail over good in the world. They're one of the greatest traditions of all time, so I hope that my podcast will inspire you. Welcome to episode 5 of my podcast. In my previous episode, I talked about geometric patterns on traditional Pessinka. It was such a long-winded podcast, I hope you didn't tune out. Today, I'd like to keep it short and simple. Let's detract from the serious stuff for a minute and focus on technique. Even the most experienced egg artists use pencil lines as a framework to maintain geometric balance. I'd like to give you a few pointers on this, such as what type of pencil to use, how much of the design to pencil out, how to remove unwanted or unsightly pencil marks, and troubleshooting problems and solutions. For some people, it's not that easy to eyeball proportion and dimension on the curved surface of an egg. Others can do it quite easily, freehand. My husband Tom teases that I can make a star rosette perfectly balanced on an egg with my eyes closed. But that's only because I've done it so many times. One thing you can do to help distribute repetitive patterns on an egg evenly is to use pencil guidelines. When writing Pessinka, you should strive for balance and symmetry as much as possible. Did you notice that I used the term writing Pessinka? I did this in other episodes too. That's because we say we write Pessinka. They're not painted, stenciled, nor drawn. They're written. So let's get into the content of this episode on pencil guidelines and start with the basics. I'm often asked, what type of pencil do you use? My answer is that I use one with a very hard lead. Most office supply and art stores carry different grades of both hard and soft pencils. A very hard lead works best. I usually use a number 2 or number 3. I find that anything softer will smudge or rub off. Keep your pencil sharpened to a fine point. I like to use a lead pencil for this. It should go without saying that you should not use a ballpoint pen or marker. As for how much of the design to pencil out, don't pencil the entire design. Remember that the title of this podcast is Pencil Guidelines, and that is what you want. Just a few visible marks to help balance the distribution of your symbols and designs. You should use very little pressure and make long, smooth lines rather than short, sketchy ones. Make your pencil guidelines only on the white eggshell. It's very seldom that I add pencil to any parts of the colored egg. Most of all, avoid erasing, because erasing can make your eggshell non-receptive to the dyes. And when all is said and done, you'll have a blotchy area that can't be fixed. If you haven't pressed too hard with your pencil, the marks should come off when you remove the beeswax. Most beginners will learn to make Pessinka with a dark background color. In that case, if the pencil doesn't come off with the beeswax, it will be covered up by the darker dye colors. Let's say you've done everything I've suggested and the pencil lines are still showing. Here's a couple of troubleshooting problems and things you can do to fix them. If you have pencil marks showing through the lighter dyes, especially white areas of your egg, use a white eraser to remove them. You can purchase a white eraser at most stationery stores. In later episodes, I'll be talking about a technique called bleaching. These types of Pessinka have large areas of white on them, so they may be more vulnerable to unwanted pencil lines showing up. On background colors other than white, I've used paint thinner on a Q-tip quite successfully. I gently wipe off the pencil marks. Again, a very light touch is important to prevent the dye from rubbing off. I've even used certain types of nail polish remover and spot remover to get rid of pencil marks that I don't want to show. Let me wrap up this episode on the importance and technique of using pencil guidelines with one more tip. Add a small jar of paint thinner to your kit of Pessinka supplies. You never know when it might come in handy. For example, after you've melted off the beeswax from your Pessinka, there might be small traces of beeswax clinging to the pores of the egg. You can use a small amount of paint thinner on a tissue or cotton ball to gently wipe away your Pessinka. The colors will appear much brighter because they won't have the residue of dark beeswax distorting the colors. As you research more about Pessinka, whether from this podcast, from my website, babasbeeswax.com, or from other resources, you'll learn many techniques to nurture your interest and desire to write a perfect pesanka for you. That's it for the main part of this episode. Now let's move on to talk about my recommendations for books and bits. In each episode of this podcast, I've been commenting on resources to support the topics covered, including various techniques that can be used. They're also on my website, babasbeeswax.com. There's no shortage of books dealing with the technique of pesanka, with many of them showing diagrams and pictures. I've found that the best resource books include basic division marks to make with a pencil. There's a family of authors in Minneapolis who have done a fabulous job of writing a series of numbered books just like this. I've used them for years and have them all in my personal collection. I highly recommend ordering one for yourself to enrich your library on the topic of pesanka. I think it's best to start with book 1 and go from there. Maybe request one as a gift from a loved one for your birthday or a special day. They're available for purchase along with supplies, kits, and other books from my store, Baba's Beeswax. Right next to the books listing on the Baba's Beeswax online store is an icon which links you directly to our YouTube channel. There's several playlists to watch, but the one I want to lead you to is the book preview video clips. You'll see me flip through the pages to see the format, colorful covers, and contents of featured pesanka designs. Well, that's all for today. Join me again for the next episode, just in time for Easter. In case you're still not sure if pesanka are right for you, or if you're just running out of time before Easter, I'll be talking about other types of Ukrainian decorated eggs that are quick and easy. Before I go, allow me to tell you about Baba's Beeswax and how you can get in touch with me. Back in 1991, sitting around the dining room table with my family, it got me thinking that, well, maybe I should do more with my egg decorating hobby. We came up with the whimsical name Baba's Beeswax. Since then, Baba's Beeswax has been doing a lot of buzzing. We have a website at babasbeeswax.com. Our studio comes alive with workshops and demonstrations. We write books, pamphlets, teaching aids, and videos. We have a library for all the publications we produce and collect. Not only that, we have a gallery of all the pesanka we've made and collected. Please drop by for a visit. We're located in Richmond, British Columbia. If you like shopping in person, it's very easy to get to. We're not far from the Vancouver International Airport. And for our American friends, we're just a few hours' drive north of Seattle. For shopping on the internet, you can visit our online store at babasbeeswax.com. We've had it since 1997. Pardon the pun, but we've been buzzing around for a long time. We're doing our best to keep up with technology, so we're connecting with you on YouTube, Facebook, and other platforms. Now we're podcasting, and we're very excited to be doing that. You too can follow the buzz by giving us your comments or a thumbs up. We're here to help you choose kits and supplies like the beeswax, kiska, and dyes you'll need. You can get everything you need all year round, not only at Easter. In case you missed anything, you can listen to my podcast again. We've put the audio file on our website, babasbeeswax.com, or you might like reading along, so we've put the transcript there too. That's it for me, Joan Brander of Baba's Beeswax. Thanks for listening, and have a great day.
Яка ти зрадлива, не одного мужа жона розлучила, не одного мужа жона розлучила. Обшукана френська громада, музиченьки грайте, а ви сілуяйте. Обшукана френська громада, музиченьки грайте, а ви сілуяйте. Ой, не відьми милий, до Канада жити, лише ж тіточками будемо бідити, лише ж тіточками будемо бідити. Канада, українська громада, музиченькі грайте, а ви всі гуляйте. Хоп-шуп, Канада, українська громада, музиченькі грайте, а ви всі гуляйте. Ой, приходь мій рідний, старенька я мати, бо чи вас я буду ще колись видати, бо чи вас я буду ще колись видати. Дайте кабаніба, батьку мармуляди, бувайте здорові, йду до Канади, бувайте здорові, йду до Канади. Хоп-шуп, Канада, українська громада, музиченькі грайте, а ви всі гуляйте. Хоп-шуп, Канада, українська громада, музиченькі грайте, а ви всі гуляйте. Дайте кабаніба, пачку маргарини, бувайте здорові, йду до Марини, бувайте здорові, йду до Марини. Хоп-шуп, Канада, українська громада, музиченькі грайте, а ви всі гуляйте. Музиченькі грайте, а ви всі гуляйте. Хоп-шуп, Канада, українська громада, музиченькі грайте, а ви всі гуляйте.
Upp небо, Манітоба, по осені тече вода чиста. Старе життя, старші як сосни, молодші від голів, рости як вітрець. Country road, take me home to the place I belong. Manitoba, miles from mama, take me home. Country road, ridni lise, singi honi irike, čuju i kleć i holosi. Sonce zajślošte daleko i domu ja je. Čuju kleć, country road, take me home to the place I belong. Manitoba, miles from mama, take me home. Country road, take me home. Country road.
And the inimitable Mickey and Bunny with John Denver remake set in Manitoba rather than Virginia. And of course that was Country Roads. And before them, a much younger and more contemporary group. They are called Molodzi, which means young people. And that song was a song all about immigration to Canada. Hop-шуп, Канаде. Цю годину була з вами Павліна. Нагадую, ви слухаєте радіопрограму «Наш Холос», радіо нашого коріння. Залишайтеся з нами наступну годину. Далі передаю мікрофону Оксані. Запрошую послухати трохи про історію і традиції, розповість Оксана. Але перед тим я хочу залишити вас такими словами мудрості. Хто добре свій фах знає, той ніколи себе не завстидає. And our proverb of the week translates as, whoever knows his occupation well will never have cause to be ashamed. And that brings us to the end of the first hour of Nash Holos Ukrainian Roots Radio here on CHLY 101.7 FM in Nanaimo. Please stay with us as Oksana takes over the microphone to host the next hour in Ukrainian. Meanwhile, please join me here again next Wednesday from 11 a.m. until 12 noon. And until then, do stay in touch with both Oksana and me via our Facebook page and Twitter. In between broadcasts, please visit us online where you'll find transcripts and the podcast feed, guest interviews, and other features. And that's www.nashholos.com. So stay tuned next for the Nash Holos Ukrainian Hour with Oksana, followed by Wellness Wednesday to learn how to be healthy naturally. And at 2 p.m., join Gord Bibby for 2 hours of great oldies on Groovin' with Bibby G. I'm Pavlina on behalf of all of us here at Nash Holos and CHLY 101.7 FM. Thanks so much for listening. Do zустрічі.